It's really good to be back with you again. I hope everyone's doing fine during this bit of a crisis that's going on around us, a bit of chaos. So I thought what I might do is help us to learn a little bit about our energy centers and how to balance our energy centers so that we're able to, move through some of the chaos that surrounds us in our world in a better way. We all have different ways of reacting to things, of doing things, of internalizing things or denying things, or however it works for each individual person, because we are very individual. And the yoga medicines and the yoga philosophies tell us that we have these major energy centers that influence how our body works, how our minds might work along with that. Because if our body is healthy, our minds are healthy, and if our minds are healthy, also our bodies are healthy. And to keep our prana flowing through all the different parts of the body. So I'm just going to go through just a little bit of how that works, and I have other videos that will be up on YouTube that will be a yoga practice that allows us to do a little more balancing of each one of these centers. When all of our body is clicking on all cylinders, our minds are fresh, our minds are open, our bodies are healthy. And so we just need to take that into consideration, that our yoga practice is meant to do that. It's meant to balance the entire body in our mind, body, and spirit. So I'll begin by talking a little bit about what these centers are. They're called chakras. You might hear chakra, which is not wrong. In the Sanskrit language, we usually pronounce that CH as ch, right? So I say chakra, and we, have different ways of saying things, and saying chakra is just fine. So I always make sure that people understand that those two things are the same thing. And our chakras are energy centers. So they're energy centers that go up and down the spine and correlate with the central nervous system and how our central nervous system works. In the philosophies of yoga, we talk a lot about how they have color and vibration and feelings that go along with them, and body parts that they regulate. And this is true, that we know that our central nervous system regulates our body. It stimulates hormones to flow. It stimulates our senses and how we feel things physically. It also has a lot to do with how our brain thinks and what chemicals are released in our brain or not. So our central nervous system is that. So in our science of, Western medicine science, very much like what happens to our central nervous system also happens in the philosophies of yoga with the chakras. So our chakra system usually begins at the root. So we say, at the perineal area, right down and below the tailbone, at the end of the spine, is our root chakra. And our root chakra vibrates a little slower. It's like an earth element. It is the color of red, which is a very strong color. And when we talk about something vibrating at a color, we know that vibration makes color, and our rainbows are an example of that, and the chakra colors are the color of the rainbow as well. So it's very fascinating how that works. So chakras, they go from forward to back. It's like this four-dimensional thing. So it's not just, you're radiating energy, out the front of your body. They go in all directions, but usually are centered, in that space, radiating in all directions. And also, our root chakra goes down the legs. So it's one of these things that is very much a part of our physical survival. There can be some fear things that are involved there. And right now in our world, I think just fear of this sort of survival thing that's going on around us, that, you know, we're staking our claims to our personal survival. And this is an important thing. You know, this is why people go out and hoard toilet paper or, you know, different things when there's going to be a snowstorm, or what we have going on right now, a virus. So we think to ourselves about, you know, how do we react to those things? And that might be something that you would think about, you know, where you might be imbalanced in this fear level or this survival. Some people take things like this very, very well, and their anxieties don't really rise during these times, and you know, things are going to be okay. So they might have something else going on in their root chakra. So I find that we react to things depending on how those messages are being sent to our central nervous system. We've gotten these things probably through, you know, lots of things, through generations, through culture, through all of these things of how our bodies actually are put together. So we just need to be aware, and I'm always talking about being aware. So if there's these feelings like that, then you might say, oh, I really need to feel grounded, and that's something that we would work with in our root chakra, doing our practice. And some other little things that we might do besides the yoga poses themselves that are helping us to be grounded, like meditation. So that would be something that would be important. As we move up, we have our sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is between our belly button and our root chakra. So it radiates the color of orange. One of my favorite colors. I have orange things everywhere. I love the color of orange. To me, it's a very powerful color. It's a very soothing color, actually. And the sacral chakra is more of a water element. But we remember that water flows down, and like a waterfall, and it rolls down the river, and there's that gravity that pulls it in that direction. So it goes down and not up. Right. So it's sometimes having some imbalances there. It's also that flowing thing. So we might think of it as something that interferes with our moods or things like that. Also in our body, you know, our hip area, we hold a lot of what we say, we hold our baggage in our hips, right? So we hold a lot of resentments, we hold a lot of things like that. So sometimes having these two chakras out of balance, our root and our sacrum, might have something to do with how you feel about your personal world. And it also has something to do with our sexuality and how we express ourselves. How, you know, is it okay to be yourself? Is it not okay to be yourself? Do you feel the love and those kinds of things? And how do you feel love? So those are some of the issues that the sacral chakra might balance or be imbalanced. And then we move up into the solar plexus, and our solar plexus chakra is yellow, bright yellow like the sun. And every other chakra is influenced by that. It has to go through this sort of ego center because it has a lot to do with our personal power. And do you feel personal power? And one of the sayings that I've heard is that, you know, most of the misuse of power that we have is thinking that we don't have any. And we do. We're just like everyone else. And everyone is just like everyone else and has the same things that are going on in their lives. And those are the things that you might think about in this area. You know, people who have imbalanced, you know, might be more this sort of what we call narcissistic personalities, or just very sort of aggressive. And then we have the other side of it where you find that sort of mild and meek person who would never be able to express themselves about who they are and what they are and how they belong in this world. So this one can be extremely important, and when we're here working on our digestion, how do we digest life in general, right? How do we digest our food? Because our food goes in there, and then that makes that big difference. So in our body, how is that happening? You hear a lot about probiotics and all of those things, because one of the things that happens is that our digestive system has everything to do with how we feel. So when we can balance that through yoga practices, that's a really breathing exercises, things like that. And during our yoga practice, we're balancing those things all the time. Sometimes we focus on certain ones. And we'll move up then to our heart. So our heart chakra, one of the things that I say about it is that we really need to understand that through our heart chakra also, it is the only one that is linear, where we're like reaching out. Literally, our heart chakra is coming out of our hands. So not only does it come forward and it goes backward and it goes out, but literally through our body, through our hands. This is why hugs are so wonderful, and you can even hug yourself and you can get the same feeling. We release hormones when we hug ourselves because of that energy. It is the color of green, a very, very beautiful green, like the beautiful green grass, or maybe we say, like emerald green. Beautiful green color. And so it's, that thing where it's flowing around, and when we say we have power in our hands, we have power in our hands for even touching ourselves. So this vibration is very, very powerful. I quite often in the practice will say, rub your legs or touch yourself and move, just shake it off, push it off. These are things that happen through our heart chakra. Where do we feel compassion, and are we able to love and be loved? And also our physical heart. So our circulation, our immune system, how is this working? It works through our heart chakra. And just making sure that we have this understanding of opening our heart is not a bad thing, that opening our heart allows for everything to be very balanced. And so our throat chakra speaks our heart. So our throat chakra is like the color of turquoise, or I say the Caribbean Sea, or it's a very beautiful blue color. And I quite often wear the throat chakra because it's about expressing yourself. And it's expressing what's inside of you. So when we express what is inside of us, we express what's coming from our heart, and we also express what's coming from our third eye. Right? And this one here, we call our brow chakra, is indigo blue. These three work together a lot. Right? We receive information from our divine source at all times through our crown chakra. We receive vibrations through our world. When things are chaotic, we feel this in our bodies, and we internalize some of this information. But it's through our third eye, or brow chakra, that we assimilate this information and turn it around, and then it becomes what we think it is. And we all have these different perceptions of life, perceptions of things. And I know that you guys have all heard about how you could have 3 people see an accident and each person sees something different. We see things from our experiences. So through our experiences, we then express how those things are. So if your throat chakra is blocked or and imbalanced, the people, I always say I talk a lot, and I hope that I'm talking a lot to help people to learn and to be able to express themselves, and I'm doing it as a service. Instead of saying things that are just nonsensical or not needed, right? So this can be like affected through gossip and all of those kinds of things, but also our thyroid is there. So physically, our thyroid needs to be, and if you don't have a thyroid, there's still glands and things that are being released through your brain, or through chemicals released through your brain that are being affected the same way. So something else takes over. You might be taking a medication or things like that. Something else is taking over, and that needs to be regulated as well. So we're always regulating because it's an energy, and so that energy needs to be regulated. So these things working together all the time. How do we express ourselves? How do we feel about it? How do we love? How do we talk about it? How do we talk about love? What do we feel? How do we see it? So those are the things that we all might ask, that we see things clearly. And through our indigo blue brow chakra, we might, ask that question: how do we see things? And then how do we express them? And then how do we give them? And that really is our purpose here on earth, isn't it? That we give what we know. And the gurus, through all the yoga practice, is about giving what they know to help people to live a better life. So our crown chakra, this some people might call it our aura, and because it's that energy, and we know scientifically that we do have this sort of energy that emanates from us all, and we're surrounded by this energy. Sometimes the color of violet, and most often seeing it as a violet color, sometimes white. And white is a pure color. So we might say that there are some people who have more of the white light, some more of the violet, depending on who they are, who their personalities are, and also what their service is to the world. We balance these by doing a yoga practice. We balance these by breathing, by meditating. So our yoga practice includes all of those things. So if all you got done today was a nice quiet meditation, you have practiced yoga. And this is a very perfect thing to do, because sometimes it's about that. Sometimes it's about moving our bodies in a certain way so that our energies will balance. And the yoga practice is specifically designed to balance all of those centers. Our sun salutations that we do is the perfect balance of all of the chakras. So we say all you would need to do maybe would be a sun salutation, and you would be able to balance your chakras, and that would be the perfect practice for that time. And so there are things that you can actually do in a short period of time that help you to do that. So in further videos that will be up on Ageless Yogis, it will be on YouTube. The site is called Ageless, or my channel, I guess. This is kind of new to me. My channels are, my channel is agelessyogis.com. And so you should be able to find that on the YouTube channel. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Apparently, the more subscriptions I have, the better, more things that I can do with it, which is kind of exciting. And I plan on doing some videos for you guys until the end of things that are going on here, and you can go back to look at them. And I know a lot of you are stuck inside, so the perfect time to balance our chakras, balance our minds, bring our prana, our life force, into our bodies and into our minds. So please watch for future videos, and if they're posted, it should follow the chakras, and you'll be able to do them as you go. I appreciate you being with me and listening to me talk about these things. I do have a picture here. I don't know that you'd be able to see it really well, but here's a body that has the chakra centers on it. and it might be something, there's lots of books. This one says Chakra Energy Plan. There's a book that. I have a book here, Chakra Healing. I have other things, many things. I also do workshops on the chakras, and we were in the middle before we were in lockdown, basically. We were in the middle of doing a chakra series where each class at the studio was a different chakra. So we were having a super fun time with that, and so maybe this will help a little bit to get everybody back on track with that. And I decided to do my videos from the studio. This is my studio here. So if that way, maybe you feel a little bit at home, like get to visit. And I'm super glad that I get to visit with you guys. Thank you very much. Namaste.